Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take a second to welcome you to Duel Academy U.S.A.'s Introduction to Dueling lecture series. In part 1, we shall be going over all of the decks the school offers its students for free when you first join, and let you know their strengths, weaknesses, and let you make an informed decision should you decide to drop that money bag and come right on in, because, well, we're waiting for you. So without further ado, let's talk about this deck, the deck that we have dubbed the Mechanical Madness. Mechanical Madness is a deck that we offer to students that gives you the opportunity to try out 4 different archetype engines. We're looking at Speedroids, we're looking at Gadgets, Morphics, and Cyber Dragons. So without further ado, let's pop into this bad boy and talk about it. First off, let's start with the extra deck, the fun stuff, shall we, students? Now, forgive me. I'm only here for a short time, so let's make this quick. Your extra deck, almost that side deck, that's 2 different things, students, and you won't be learning about that until next week. That being said, your extra deck consists of very powerful monsters. A lot of the times, your deck boss monster. These monsters tend to have themselves some sort of resource use, things that are needed for these effects to happen. So without further ado, we'll go over this next extra deck, and then we'll go over the main deck. First off, you'll be rocking yourself 1 Cyber Dragon, 2 Cyber Twin Dragons. That's right, you get 2 in this set. And trust me, you'll see. You will get yourself 1 Stardust Warrior, 1 Morphonic Earfawn, 1 Gaia Knight the Force Birth, and lastly, 1 Gemini Pearl. This extra deck is offering yourself a chance to mess with some archetypal specific stuff while also having the opportunity to try some just basic options. So without further ado, let's hop into the deck. So we're going to start with your monster list. What are you working with? So when it comes to your gadgets, which is going to be the lighter side of the deck, we have 3 specific cards we'll be using. 2 Gadget Gamer, and 1 Silver Gadget. These 3 offer you some floodability to your field. When it comes to Gadget Gamer, allow us to read the effect here. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 level 1 machine monster from your deck to your hand. You can tribute this card, especially on 1 morphonic monster from your hand. You can only use the effect of a Gadget Gamer once per turn, but however, that effect is good. Next up is Silver Gadget. Now, this one's got a pretty good effect here. When this card is normal special summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 machine monster from your hand. If this card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can special summon 1 level 4 gadget monster from your deck, except Silver Gadget, and you can only use 1 Silver Gadget per turn. That being said, these cards offer you an amazing way to help thin out your deck a little bit, and of course, give you some floodability. Up next, the next of the archetypes you get to mess with in this deck are your Morphonics, which have a bit stronger of a presence in this deck. You'll be running 2 Morphonic Broaden, you'll be running 2 Morphonic Staplon, 1 Morphonic Telephone, 1 Morphonic Magnet, 1 Morphonic Videon, and 1 Morphonic Sligon, or Sligon. That's a slingshot. I thought these guys were machines, not tools. So let's talk about these guys. They all got to work in tandem and do a little something to help slow your opponent down. Staplon will be the first we go over, so while in attack position, your opponent cannot select another monster as an attack target. If this card is destroyed by battle, the monster that destroyed this card loses 300 attack. Secondly, while in defense position, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is attacked after damage calculation, select 1 attack position monster your opponent controls and change it to defense position, and this card to attack. Now, this right here is meant as a little protection. And to simply put, if you've never heard of the marauding Captain Wall, well, let's just say China wishes they could build a better one, because that wall is so broken. It almost got banned at one point in tournament play. You basically set yourself up in a mortal defense. Technically, you're still susceptible to spells and traps. Board On, who's your next 2 of, has the following effects. While in attack position, morphic monsters you control can attack your opponent directly. Secondly, while in defense position, other morphic monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Again, more defense for the deck, because let's face it, machines like to build up to their big boys. Next up, we have Morphonic Slingon. Slingon. I don't know how to say it. This card is so freaking weird. Alright, here we go. While in attack position once per turn, you contribute 1 morphonic monster except Morphonic Slingon to destroy 1 card on the field. And then while in defense position, if this guy would be destroyed, you can destroy another morphonic monster you control. This is good removal, people, at least for the deck. It's not the most powerful, potent attacker, but the effect itself's pretty damn good. Let's get these guys together. A deck that works together, rides together. Next up, a Morphonic Magnet. What's this guy's effect? Let's read it. While in attack position, if your opponent controls a face-up monster, this card can only select the highest attack monster as an attack target. While in defense position, your opponent cannot select another monster as an attack target. Basically, okay, this tells your opponent, not only can I target your biggest monster after I boost this up, and only target your biggest monster, but you can't touch anything else but this stupid bitch until you get rid of him. Tell you, defenses, they're worth it with this kind of deck. Next up, we have Morphonic Telephone. You ready? Attack position. Once per turn during a main phase, you can roll a 6-sided die and gain life point equal to the results times 100. Then you can special summon 1 morphonic monster from your graveyard, a level equal to or lower than the result. In a defense position, once per turn during your main phase, you can roll a 6-sided die. Excavate that many cards to the top of your deck as you can, and if you do, you can send 1 excavated morphonic card to the graveyard and place the rest either on the top or bottom of the deck in any order. So that's actually good for thinning out the deck a little bit, and it kind of helps you manipulate your deck a little bit to give you that kind of oomph you might need in the middle of a duel. And the final of the Morphonics here in this deck is Morphonic Videon, who says, while in attack position, this card gains 800 attack for each equipped card equipped to it. While in defense position, this card gains 800 defense for each equipped card equipped to it. It's nothing crazy, it's just a little battle booster, a nice little beat stick for the Morphonics to have fun with. Next up is going to be, what's the next one? The Roids! Every gym goer's best friend, the Roids. So let's go over the Roids in the deck and what they do for this deck. We have 2 Speedroid card turbos. We have 1 Speedroid Horstitz, 1 Speedroid Terratop, 1 Speedroid Double Yo-Yo, and Speedroid Red-Eye Dice. So let's talk about their effects, what they do for this deck, and then let's get through to the final of these main archetypes, the Saber Dragons. So without further ado, Speedroid Red-Eye Dice. What is his effect? When this card is normal summon or special summon, you can target 1 Speedroid monster in your graveyard. You control, not in your graveyard. Except Speedroid Red-Eye Dice. Declare level 1 from 6, and it becomes that level to the end of turn. It helps you access some of those synchro monsters you got, because you got a wide range of levels. Next up is Speedroid Double Yo-Yo. Let's talk about its effect. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 3 or lower Speedroid in monster in your graveyard special summon. Again, flood ability. It leaves you open to being able to pop off a Gem Knight, or maybe you get yourself a Synchro. Again, good effect. Now we need Speedroid Terratop. If you control a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, except Speedroid Terratop. You can only use this effect of Speedroid Terratop once per turn. And let me tell you something, again, it's no wonder people love this. Floods the field, gets it done, puts plenty of resources on there. Now we're down to the last 2 to go over of the Roids. You ready here? Next up is Horse Stilts. What's his effect? Quite a weird name, ain't it? When this card is double summoned, you can special summon level 4 or lower Speedroid monster from your hand. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard and send one wind monster from your hand or from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect Speedroid Horse Stilts once per turn. And then finally, we're going to go over Card Turbo. Speedroid Card Turbo. Its effect is if you control a wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You also cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except wind monsters. You can banish this card and one Speedroid from your graveyard. All wind monsters you currently control gain 800 attack until the end of this turn. You can only use the effect of Speedroid Card Turbo once per turn. That flood ability is why Speedroid Card Turbo is in here. Again, this deck is all about getting resources set up to get to your big monsters and get there fast. This deck is about consistency. So now we are here at the Cyber Dragon part of the deck. This is the last of the 4 offered up archetypes that this deck allows you to try, kiddos, all right? You're going to have 2 Cyber Dragon, I always say this name weird, but Notchster, and 2, of course, Cyber Dragons. Now, I believe Cyber Dragon's a well-known enough card here at this point. There's a reason this deck is like the number 2 picked here at the school, okay? It's known because Zane, okay? And Zane's a good kid. But we raise him better here at the U.S. Academy. That being said, in case you don't know what Cyber Dragon does, if your opponent controls a monster, you control no monsters. You can special summon this card from your hand. Just simple as that. It's a free summon. Now, Notchster is a little different, and honestly, it's more for the fusion fodder. Again, these are structure decks. We can't just give you guys top-of-the-line tournament decks right away. It wouldn't make sense. Plus, you wouldn't have access to those cards in the card pool. So let's go here. Cyber Dragon Notchster. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. You can discard one of the monsters, special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is no more special summon, you can target one machine monster with 2100 or less attack in your graveyard and special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except machine monsters, and you can only use the effect of Cyber Dragon Notchster once per turn. Let me tell you something again. Floodgates, 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 and sets everything up. Now, forgive me. It's a little warm in here, toasty, you know what I'm saying? It's the U.S. school, for Pete's sake. It reaches 90 degrees on an average day here. And I got a shit here with a blacktop table which just attracts all that sunlight, for Pete's sake. That being said, up next is your monsters that aren't really archetypal, but they help the deck out, all right? We're going to go over most of them, because most of them are... That's what we need to go over. So let's just do it. So Master Diploman. If this card is distributed to me, you target one monster in your graveyard and one face monster your opponent controls. Equip the monster from your graveyard to your opponent's monster. While equipped by this effect, the equipped monster loses attack equal to the attack of the monster equipped to it. Your opponent can activate the effects of monsters they control that are equipped with the equipped cards in your spell and trap card zones. Up next, we have 2 Quibbled Hedgehogs, which, again, popular monsters. A lot of people loved them. A graduate from actually here at the U.S. Academy, a guy named Fudo, really did a good job with this card way back in the day. If this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You must control it. Tuna to activate and resolve this effect. Again, field flooding. Tuna, you know what that means. We're going into synchro summoning, just like 5Ds with card games on motorcycles. That's besides the point there. Let's continue, shall we? Up next, we have Guardian of the Throne Room, which is just a normal machine monster, and there for normal machine purposes. We have Unknown Synchron, again, another special summoner from your hand, just floods the field. We have Cursed Bride Doll. You can draw, when you draw this card, you can reveal it, special summon this card, and at the start of the battle phase, if there are more cards in your deck than your opponent's, this card gains attack equal to the difference times 300. Until the end of this turn, once per turn, during the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there, this turn, place this card on the top or bottom of the deck. And one of the last 3 of the randoms, not part of any archetype, is Gizmek. Why do they have to choose the weirdest fucking names for this shit. Gizmek Tech, the Immortal Intellect. If this guy's normal special, you take one machine monster's attack equals its own defense from your deck and place it on top of your deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then take one machine in your graveyard whose attack equals its own defense. Special summon in defense position. You can only use each effective Gizmek thingy. It's on the screen somewhere. Yeah, we can only use it once per turn. It's the typical stuff. They try to balance this stuff, but let's face it, right? Balance from them? That being said, next up we have Amphibious Bugroth, Mark 11. With the effect, while Umiya is not on the field, this card gains 700 attack. Also, it cannot attack directly while Umiya is on the field. You can target one face-up non-mono monster on the field, destroy it. Or you can target one face-up monster on the field, destroy it, and you can only use the effect of him once per turn. So, another once per turn, but a good card removal, good battle prowess. It's already 1850. Get an extra, what was that again? 700 attack. That brings it up to what, like 2,500, something like that? Alright, last one is Orbital Hydrolamander. Yeah, that's literally the name. Oh, that's kind of weird. Can be known with summoner set. Must be summoned someone from your hand by having 5 or more monsters in your graveyard and no monsters in the graveyard with the same name. Once per turn, quick effect. You can send the top 3 cards to your deck to the graveyard, destroy 1 card on the field. You must have at least 2 monsters in your graveyard and no monsters. Must have at least 2 monsters in your graveyard and no monsters in your graveyard with the same name to activate and resolve this effect. Which is why we added in so many non-archetypal stuff. Now we can quickly go through the spells. We'll just give an overview of what they do, and the same thing with the traps. Because honestly, this lecture's getting long, and you can learn your own deck by reading the cards. I just wanted to introduce you to the monsters that you'll be playing with and having fun making friends with. So, first off, we have a Necrofusion, which allows you to fusion someone from the deck, obviously, for your dragons. We have Ojama Trio to help flood your opponent and stop them from using their stuff. We have the Great Noodle Inversion. Again, more deck manipulation. Double Dust Tornado has a little negation ability. Bottomless Trap Hole to stop someone from summoning something, obviously. Compulsory Evacuation Device, obviously returns something to hand. We have 2 bottomless in here, I think. Do we? Yes, you do. Ah! We have Final Attack Ordnance, which gives a last-second boost to your monsters. We have Trap Tricks to allow you to do a little more deck thinning and add, more consistency to it. Trap Hole Spikes for monster removal and Magical Arm Shield for defense against attacks. Spell-wise, you have 2 polymerizations. I think, again, clear as day what that's for. We got a Big Bang Shot. Again, power these guys up. Gold Sarcophagus, because it helps thin the deck. Power Bond for more fusion ability. Limiter Removal to boost them. Machine Duplication to summon them. And Break Draw. What does Break Draw do? Oh, it's a equip card you put to a monster and you can draw 1 card if it attacks and destroys something. Big whoop, nothing crazy, right? Just half a pot of greed per turn. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this here is the deck that you shall be using should you pick to go with the Mechanical Madness deck. We offer you a wide variety of 5 different decks for you to use here at this school, primarily because we like to, really endorse the students here figuring out their own thing. So whether you choose to keep the decks the way they are, or you choose to make them your own, this is what you start with, this is what we offer. Now we got 4 other options on the table, but we'll have to talk about that in the next piece to part 1, where we'll go over the heroes of the school.